Hey guys, so just a few minutes ago we set up our algae cultures, and so the next step is figuring out just how much algae is actually in that culture. So group 3, go ahead and pull your algae out here, and this is what it looked like after we set it up. And so to estimate how much biomass is actually in your culture, we're going to use a couple of different tools. First is the Secchi Stick, and we'll go into detail about how to use this here in a minute. And the second piece is a skirted falcon tube. And so as you're following along, we are on the second part of our day 2 worksheet. And so if you look at it at the top, it should say part 2, sampling your algae culture. Okay. And so let's get started here. So the Secchi Stick is 2 different parts. There is a long part that is a ruler, and it goes from 0 millimeters all the way at the bottom, all the way up to 180 millimeters at the top. And then at the other end, you will see a black and white shield. And so we're going to use this shield as a way of as we're lowering the Secchi Stick into the water, we're going to watch that shield. And the minute we can't see it anymore, we're going to basically write down where the water is touching, the surface of the water is touching our ruler, and we're going to write down that measurement, that millimeters where those two are connecting. Perfect. So a little dry run. So we'll open up our skirted falcon tube, and we're going to fill it all the way up to 50 milliliters. We normally would shake our culture up. We pour 50 milliliters in there. We'll do a quick dry run here. And then directly vertical, as we're dropping our Secchi Stick into the culture, we're going to drop it all the way through, and we're going to keep an eye on that shield. And the minute we can't see that shield, we're going to stop, and we're going to hold steady. And then from there, we're going to look at the millimeters, and we're going to see right where the surface of the water touches, and we'll write down that number on our worksheet. And then we'll use that number to estimate the amount of algae actually in your culture. All right, so let's do this for real then. Give it a culture swirl, and we're going to fill this up to 50 milliliters. All right. All right, and so remember, we're going to take the Secchi Stick and we're going to drop it vertically through the column of water, and we're going to stop right when we can't see that black and white shield anymore. All right, so here we go. I'm going to drop it all the way down, and I can still slightly see it. All right, it looks like it's disappearing right about there. And if we look at the water, it's contacting it right at about 35 millimeters. Go ahead and drop off the water there. And so on our worksheet, we need to fill some data in here, right? What day is it? Your group number, which is group 3. How many milliliters of algae did you add when you set up your flask? Remember back just a few minutes ago, we added 80 milliliters of water or media, and then we added 20 milliliters of this concentrated algae. So you'll go ahead and write 20 milliliters there. And the next one here is the Secchi Stick reading. And so we just said that that was 35 millimeters. So go ahead and write 35 there. Perfect. So we took a measurement of our culture, and that was just in millimeters. So it doesn't actually tell us how much algae is there. But to get to this next box, which is the amount of algae or biomass in your flask, we're going to use this little tool, the Algae Biomass Estimator. And so what's nice about this tool is on the left column here, it has the different millimeters that would be on your Secchi Stick reading. So we found 35 millimeters is how deep we went in the culture before the shield disappeared. So we look and, oh, there it is, 35 millimeters. And if we look next to it, this is going to tell us the mass of algae, the biomass that is in our culture. And so again, moving over, and it is 170 milligrams of algae per liter. And so that's the number we're going to write down here. So in our box here, we're going to write amount of algae at 170 milligrams per liter. All right, perfect. So that measurement, taking a measurement and then getting a number to describe how much algae is in our culture, is a quantitative measure. And so the next step is we want you to do a qualitative data point as well. So at the bottom of the worksheet here, there's a box to fill in your qualitative data. And so what I want you to do is take some observations and look at this culture that we have here that you made up just a few minutes ago. And I want you to describe this in your own words, talk about the color or any type of description that you can think of. Does it look like something else or whatever? So that will go into your qualitative data question. Perfect. So that wraps up the second day sampling portion. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep your algae here, and we're going to keep it for a couple of days laying like this so it gets nice sunlight and some heat. And then in a couple of days, we're going to come back and we're going to sample it just like we did today. And we're going to get another reading for the amount of algae in the flask. We're hoping that number goes up, and that will help us explain how the algae is growing. So I'll see you guys in a couple of days to take that last measurement. All right, thanks. Bye.